Good morning, everyone. This is Tim Marlowe with Be the Better Local. We're coming to you live here on Tuesday, July 28th, and it's our last Tuesday of the month. And we have
Holy moly, it is. Like already.
we have our great friend Andy Vargo here on the mic. Say hello.
Hello.
Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
And today we're bringing you a special guest from Pierce Transit, Miss Penny. She is the community development administrator over there, and we have a special guest. A special topic to talk about because you're expanding your services, and so we're excited to talk about this new system called the Runner System. So, say hello to everyone.
Hi, everyone. I'm Penny from Pierce Transit. Glad to be here today.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and just get to know what this new system is, because if you don't know who Pierce Transit is, they're the big buses that are just about everywhere in our Pierce County area. They have an additional medical service bus as well, and so I'm sure that I'm missing more services. But Penny and I have gone back the last handful of years on all the different events and just community outreach. So when I saw this new system, we had to just bring you on board and just learn more about it. So we're excited.
Yes, thank you. So, Pierce Transit runs the local fixed route buses as well as the shuttle, which is the special medical paratransit service. And we also have a whole fleet of van pools as well for commuters. Obviously, right now, things are not as busy as they once were, but this is a great time for us to test out new ways of offering service that are maybe different than traditional transit, but help people get where they need to go. And Runner's a good example of that. It's what's known as a micro-transit service, and that means that, in this case, it's on demand, so it doesn't have a route or any particular time that it's stopping somewhere. But basically, it's used by folks to make that first and last mile connection to or from the fixed route transit in an area where we don't have bus service.
That sounds like such an important need, because a lot of times when you go to figure out where you want to go and you're figuring out your bus route, it is that last mile that is tricky.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and that's often why we hear when we do surveys that people tend not to use the buses, because they either have a really long walk to get there, or they're not able to make the journey because there aren't good sidewalks or it's dangerous, fast traffic along the route they have to travel. So this is a way for folks in a specific area to make that connection in a fairly seamless way.
Mm-hmm. Now, has Pierce Transit done this type of system before?
Yeah, we've actually had a pilot project in 2018 and 19 that actually Tim and I worked together on promoting, and that was a grant we received from the federal government to work with Lyft. And what we did was we provided free Lyft rides to folks in different parts of our service area so that they could do the exact same thing that Runner's going to do, which is make that first and last mile connection.
And that was, at least from my experience in learning more about your involvement with that pilot program with Lyft, it was pretty successful in my eyes.
Yeah, I think so. It didn't have as many trips as, say, a similar service might in a larger urban area like Seattle. I know there's another successful similar program down in Florida. But for our area and the geography covered and our ridership levels, it actually did really well. And as time went on, it was like a year and 7-month program. The numbers just kept rising as more and more people saw how valuable it was.
Yeah, and it seemed like every time that I got in front of a new client with Lyft or anything like that, they didn't even know about it. So I was excited to introduce it to them. So everything that, as the time goes on, more people get comfortable with the system itself. And so I can only see the Runner system just being very, very successul as more people get to know that it's here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So how does this on-demand service work? I mean, obviously we're not pulling up the rideshare apps anymore. So how are we going to get this on-demand service with you guys?
So this service is, we're contracting with a provider called MedStar. They're out of Yakima, and kind of a homegrown company. They have done a lot of medical specialized transportation, so they have really great customer service. They're very accessible in all that they do. And what MedStar is doing for us is providing the vehicles and the drivers, and they also have their own app that is used called Goin, Goin. And so what folks will do is they'll download the Goin app, and very much like an Uber or a Lyft, You will summon a ride when you need one. And we've defined a very specific zone in which this service will occur because we don't want to step on any of our regular bus routes. Rather, we want this to be in an area where there is no bus right now. And that happens to be a swath of the Ruston Way corridor. If people don't have the wherewithal to use an app, they can call a special designated phone number, which is on the webpage, and a customer service representative will help them schedule the ride. And it's on demand, so it's not like you have to book it a day before or anything. It's just, I'm down here at the Ram and I want to go to the Tacoma Dome station to catch a bus, and then I use my app or make the phone call, and here comes the ride.
Yeah, and that's such a great segment to capture people who might not use an app, because I know I was a rideshare driver and people would use a third-party service a lot of times in order if they were a senior or someone who doesn't have a smartphone, and so that really enables a lot more people to use this service.
Yeah, and that's another thing we have to consider is equity. We have to make sure it's available to all of the public, just like our buses are. So we have the phone number access, and then we also have vehicles for runner that are wheelchair accessible. So they're kind of minivan vehicles that have a ramp at the back, so folks using mobility devices can use this service as well.
Yeah, so you don't have to stress out about what car is going to show up to pick you up, and am I going to have to order another one?
Yeah,
Or it's
exactly.
Just, you know it's going to work. So how does somebody, like, I know with an app service with the rideshare, you just get billed on your credit card for these rides. How does a customer pay for this when they're a passenger?
So as an introductory measure, because it's brand new and we want folks to give it a try, we're offering it free for the month of August.
Wow.
Then 1st of September comes around. What we're going to be doing is asking people to pay a regular Pierce Transit fare.
Okay.
These vehicles don't accept cash, so what we're asking people to do is to use our Pierce Pay app, which is on the Hop Through platform. That's our standard mobile fare payment mechanism that we have at Pierce Transit. You can get a one ride all-day pass or a 30-day pass on the Pierce Pay app. If you already have an ORCA card, which is the regional bus pass that's used, you can just show that card to the driver because they'll know you're a regular transit user. The same thing if you have an all-day paper pass. You can show that to the driver as well.
So essentially you're paying in the same methods you're paying for your transit ride, and you're not having to learn a new system or make an extra payment somewhere. It's all right in that.
Yeah, and part of this being a pilot program is we're going to see as time goes on if there's a way to integrate the fare payment a little bit better, so it will eliminate even one step further. But for right now, that's how we're going to use the payment.
But for August, free rides.
Free rides, yeah.
Nice. So looking at the areas that you're going to be using this at, where specifically are you trying to use this pilot system maybe now, and why aren't buses available in those areas?
So some folks might remember a couple of years ago, for 2 summers, we had something called the Downtown to Defiance Trolley. This was on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays in the summer months, and it served the Ruston Way corridor and went into Point Defiance Park. It was fairly popular, but the main feedback we got was that people wanted to use it to get to and from work, and maybe they work during the weekdays, not just the weekend. We also saw the ridership ebb and flow based on time of day or which one of the 3 weekend days, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. So we often had an empty bus, and that's not very efficient. The other challenge is that if you've ever driven along Ruston Way, you'll see that there's railroad tracks on one side and the water on the other. And it was really difficult for us to find accessible bus stop locations down there. We only could have about 3 bus stop locations because of the property and kind of the geography. So with this service, we don't have to have bus stops. It's not routed. It responds when people need it. It goes where they're waiting for them, parking lots, pull-ins, wherever. So this will be a great way for Pierce Transit to learn if this kind of service is something riders want to use and find valuable. And then if it is, maybe we could look at it as a model for other areas that are hard to serve with a fixed route bus.
Yeah, and I think that's such a great point to emphasize that it's not like the bus service in that you have to get to a stop and that's where you call. There's not specific places that you have to land in order to have them find you, that you tell them where you are. And
Yeah,
they'll
that's
come
right.
to you.
You recently talked or briefly talked about just the accessibility of how Pierce Transit so well with, applying their services across the board, no matter if you're in wheelchairs, if you're blind, if you're deaf, if you're just at any point in your life. So, what about the runner system? I know that some of the vehicles are assessed with those. Is that still part of the app on how you order it and exactly what kind of vehicle you need?
Yeah, we're starting out with a couple of dedicated vehicles that are both wheelchair accessible. Because they're accessible in that way, they can also take two bikes. So a lot of people go down to Ruston Way on their bicycle and maybe are intimidated by the hills to get back out of Ruston Way.
Right.
And so they could, use Runner if the space is available. In the app, users will note that there is a comment field, and you can put in there anything such as I have a mobility device, I use a walker, I have a stroller, or I'm the guy in the red jacket in case you're in an area where, it's hard to see who's who. So that's the way that you would customize your trip request.
Nice.
If they're out there busy with other customers, they would just give you an approximate wait time until that accessible vehicle that is empty will come and get you.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Now, one thing that, obviously we're in the middle of COVID-19 right now, and that's been going on for a while. It's something you've obviously addressed on the transportation side just leading up to this. What is Pierce Transit doing to keep riders safe in this time?
Pierce Transit as a whole has taken quite a few safety measures. We have had, since the beginning of the stay-at-home order, we kind of decreased service for the first couple of months and then brought it back up again, looking for folks needing essential rides. Of course, at first, now it's back open to everyone. We ask that everybody on board the bus has a mask and they wear it for the duration of the trip. That keeps our operators safe as well as everyone who's riding. We have a cleaning protocol we've instituted so that every transit center has a crew that jumps on board the coaches as they come in during the day every couple of hours and does a sanitizing spray throughout the bus and wipes things down. We also socially distance the seating on the buses so that the coaches now have a maximum number of people that can get on board, and the seats are marked off if you can't sit in those seats so that you can maintain 6-foot distance. If a coach is full, it will say so on the outside header board when it approaches a bus stop. The driver will call dispatch and will say, we need another coach on this run because we're full. So those are the things that we're doing to make sure that buses can keep rolling and people can get where they need to go.
So they're not just going to pass you by. Sorry, we're full. they're sending a message through, so help is on the way if you're waiting for your ride.
Yeah, and the Runner is following suit because it is part of Pierce Transit now once it launches. They have a same kind of cleaning protocol with their vehicles. Of course, it's a smaller vehicle, so we're not sharing rides right now. Originally, the plan was to be efficient and share rides if people were going in the same direction. But because of COVID, we're just doing a one-party ride all the way to your destination. We'll see if that changes in future.
Yeah, I think it will. I mean, as I don't know what the new normal would look like. I hate saying it, but I mean, we're living it at this point. But yeah, I can see. Well, the first thing that popped in my mind was if you're already having buses get to the capacity, even at your limited ridership right now, that's good. That means that society is kind of getting back into their their jobs and their normal daily routines, and so that's I see hope for all that.
Yeah.
I see hope when a bus can't pick up the next rider because you're full of people, and so it's exciting to hear that. It's exciting to hear that with the new runner system that it can be a shared ride one day, but you're still doing everything you can right now to deal with COVID-19 and keeping our riders and the drivers safe as well. Before we head out, Penny, what are some contact information or what can we leave our audience with? The app to download again, I believe I wrote it down, Going app, and it's by MedStar. So just kind of give us a little wrap up of how they can download the app, where they can get the free rides from, and just kind of sum it up for us.
Okay. The app's available in the usual places, the Play Store, and then for either Android or iPhones. if you go to piercetransit.org/runner, you will find all of this information summarized, as well as an interactive map. Now, this was a tool that was very helpful when we did our Lyft program. You can basically preview the ride you want to take and see if you are in the zone, as we say, to get that ride through Runner. So you can type in any address, any destination, and find out if you can make that connection. We're emphasizing connecting to and from transit, so the main points of focus for transit riders will be Tacoma Dome Station and also down at the Commerce Street Transit Center. From those two places, you can go with Runner into the zone of Ruston Way, but you can also travel from point to point within the Ruston Way zone as well. So that webpage is the best place to go for information. We're having social media posts all of this week and into next week too, so information will be coming out in a variety of ways.
Yeah, and we'll be sharing it as well. As soon as we get done with this interview, we'll definitely be making it look pretty and getting it out and making
I
sure
want to
that
take a ride now.
Right, I want to take a ride. I want to download the app and see what it's all about. And when is all this starting again?
So it launches on August the 1st, which is this coming Saturday. The service runs 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. So that's a really broad span of service, which will be great if you happen to work at a restaurant, let's say, down on the waterfront, or if you're someone who has to get up to Seattle and you live down in the zone near Ruston Way, you can take Runner to Tacoma Dome Station and get up to Seattle that way.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's perfect.
Yeah, that's amazing. I can't wait to see it all in action and see what's to come with it all. So check it out, the Runner system coming here in just a few days, August 1st. Go to the, there's a scrolling
Right down
text at
here.
the bottom, and so there's going to be a website that has been going across the screen. So go check out the website at piercetransit.org/runner. Is there anything else you want to say before we head out?
I'm excited. We have such a beautiful city, and this is such an exciting way to actually access more of it. And Ruston Way is one of the most popular and beautiful spots of our city, and so this just makes it so much easier for everybody to get there.
While
I'm
supporting a
pumped
local
up and
transit
excited.
company.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
well, thank you so much, Penny, for coming on board with us today. And until next time, be the change needed in the world today. We'll see you.
Thank you.